Let's hope that things just work tonight. And the first thing is feedback. Dear. Good evening. This is VK3CSJ, VK3EKH with VK3CSJ on the microphone. VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast coming to you from the studios of VK3CSJ in Narre Warren South. A very pleasant good evening to everybody who's tuned in to listen at this early stage of the hour at 10 o'clock here on the 2nd of May. And the footy is playing very well there with St Kilda winning by heaps. So anyway, good evening everyone. Trust everybody is well. And all looking forward to the magnificent election tomorrow. So that should be of some exciting thing to see that all come to pass. It's my birthday tomorrow. I turn all of 65. So in 65 years that I've been on this planet, I think this is the first time that the elections have actually been held on my birthday. Don't know if that means anything. Anyway, a very pleasant good evening. We're broadcasting on the prime frequency of 3541 kilohertz in the 80 metre amateur radio band, and also via the Melbourne television repeater, VK3 RTV, digital channel 1. Good evening to viewers. And also streaming on my YouTube account, and hopefully the modem will stay up and running for at least an hour. So you can find my YouTube account on YouTube. Just type in VK3CSJ will get you there, and look for the live indication, and that should get you right there, plus the 20-second delay. But like I say every Friday, Discord is the way to view, apart from the repeater, TV repeater. Discord is the way to view the session because it is in almost real time. There's less than a second delay between what you're hearing here on 80 metres and what I show on the vision side of things. So if you aren't registered on Discord, just go to the Discord website. Just type in Discord and register. And once that looks like it's a goer, then go and visit my QRZ.com page, either VK3CSJ or EKH. I've got the link there. There's a universal link that will allow you to see the chat room and also the video, HD video, associated with the Discord signal channel, whatever. And but Discord isn't recording, unlike YouTube. YouTube likes to record stuff. So this particular video or session tonight is being recorded, as all Friday night sessions are, and I really must go back and delete a whole heap of recordings that are just blocking up the channel. Don't need them there. Must cull it. So anyway, so there it is. YouTube and Discord preferably, and of course if you are within range of the Melbourne television repeater, that's the other alternative, which is even real time almost. It's digital and working quite well. More information about the television repeater can be found on the Amateur Radio Victoria website, ARV. Just go to ARV, Amateur Radio Victoria, and look for the singular page that is set aside to describe the repeater and how to view it, and all other relative information. I'm hearing a funny noise to my left here. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, I'm on a different wireless tonight. The Pro 3, as most of you know, I use the IC756 Pro 3 for my 80 metre comms, and the audio therefore is a bit wider. I always select the wide preference on the Pro 3, and the Pro 3 has always produced very nice fine audio. Not saying that the 9000D doesn't do it, but I haven't really set this up to suit the way things are at the moment. But the Pro 3 failed last week after an hour of using it for the broadcast last Friday. Within the next, after I finished the callback, within the next half hour, it decided to fail again. I decided to investigate it, and in the process of investigating it, the Pro 3 completely died. So I've got 2 dead Pro 3s right now, and I need to get to them as soon as possible. Meanwhile, I'm now using the 9000D, and which you can see on the screen behind me. That's the video coming from the 9000 video card, internal video card. And I've been looking at the wrong camera. This is the camera I'm on, isn't it? So, and you can see the 9000D just sitting in the corner here, just there. It's a big, huge wireless. It's 25 kilograms of wireless, 200 watts, and a very nice space radio with lots of knobs to press, unlike these SDRs. Well, anyway. So the 9000D might sound a bit different tonight, so any audio reports would be appreciated. We have an email address, vk3ekh@gmail.com, vk3ekh@gmail.com, and I'm just opening up was trying to open it up, but it's now asking for a password. Isn't that annoying? That shouldn't be doing that. Just shouldn't be. How frustrating is that? Let me just have a bit of a play here for a minute. So yes, email vk3ekh@gmail.com, and also, what's the other one? Oh, Discord. Yes, the chat room on Discord is the other good medium to let me know. Thank you. Finally coming good on that one. Alright, so I'm monitoring the inbox as I speak. Right. Now, there's a few things tonight, so I shall get a jig along and see how we go. Alright, just getting things ready here. Righto. The Astronomical Society of Victoria was founded in 1922, comprises well over 1,800 members scattered about Australia and overseas. Membership of the Society is open to anyone with an interest in astronomy. The Society's objectives are to encourage the study and practice of astronomy, to disseminate the knowledge of the science, and to provide greater facilities for the study among its members. Monthly meetings are usually held on the second Wednesday of each month, except in January, with the latter being held on a Saturday night. Meetings start at 8 p.m. at the Mullier Hall, Burwood Avenue, Melbourne, near the Melbourne Observatory, which is not too far from the Shrine of Remembrance. Parking is available in Burwood Avenue, Dallas Brooks Drive, and the surrounding streets. Admission is free, and visitors are most welcome. Privileges of membership include the right to borrow books, periodicals, and other publications from the Society's extensive library located at Melbourne Observatory. Receipt of the ASV's magazine Crux, containing articles, news, observing notes, and the like, and free provision of the Astronomical Yearbook. Access is available to telescopes on members' nights held regularly at the Melbourne Observatory and after the monthly meetings, weather permitting. These instruments include the Society's 300mm equatorial reflector and a 300mm portable reflector. There's also a 200mm refractor, which is managed by the Royal Botanic Gardens, and a recently restored photoheliograph are also housed at the observatory and are accessible to members as well. The Society also has a number of 200mm reflectors available for short period loan, so members can try before you buy. Regular Society Club Night meetings are held at Melbourne Observatory in the Ellery Suite, Burwood Avenue, opposite the Shrine of Remembrance. Members are encouraged to use the I just got distracted for a second. Members are encouraged to use the Society's instruments located there in order to gain first-hand experience in telescope use. These instruments include a 508mm equatorial reflector and a number of smaller reflectors. Members are also encouraged to make use of the Society's country property located near Heathcote, some 90 minutes drive north of Melbourne. There are a range of instruments available for members to use, the larger two only with appropriate training, which range from 300mm to 1000mm in aperture. Also located on site is the 8.5 metre radio steerable telescope, which members can access with involvement with the radio astronomy section. Members are encouraged to make and use telescopes. Advice and help on both matters are provided willingly to newcomers desiring to do the same. Instrument making is only one of the number of common interest activities catered for within the Society. Other areas of interest that members can participate in include deep sky observing, astrophotography, lunar and planetary observing, auroral, meteor, comet, radio astronomy, computing, cosmology, astrophysics, historical studies, and research and astronomy in general. Contact details for various section directors are provided in the yearbook. Further information may be obtained by visiting the ASV's website at www.asv.org.au. And notifications of events are given in Crux Extra bulletins, which are sent out via email to members every other week. Please note that the ASV will conform to all government health directives, thus ASV events may be required to be cancelled, moved or postponed. If you wish to send a letter to the ASV to become a member or find out information, write to the Secretary or address the envelope to the Secretary, Astronomical Society of Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. And that's reading that word for word, although I might have altered a few things. But yes, all will be revealed on the website at www.asv.org.au. To become a member, the membership is easy peasy. It's all done on the homepage and by PayPal these days. I've got a little black cat on my left here. I'm keeping an eye on what this pussycat's doing. You can just see him in vision there. It's little Tess. Tess. Yes, up goes the tail. So she knows I can see her. Okay, now let me just have a quick check of email. And oh my goodness me, just go away. G'day Andrew. Andrew is listening, VK3KIS. G'day Andrew. Listening on Discord. Still no luck getting the 80 metre vertical working. Well, yeah. Is there any room for you to put a horizontal one up though? Horizontal would be far better, I think. But anyway. Alright, that's the only email so far. A quick look at Discord and see what's happening. I can see Andrew is there, in fact, yes. G'day Steve, VK3SBX, and our resident Mount Burnett astronomer, David, VK3KDM is there. So g'day guys. The chat room. What about the chat room? Just Steve at the moment. Happy birthday for tomorrow, young fellow. 9000D sounds pretty good here. 5 and 9 plus 20, excellent stuff. Thanks, Steve. Good stuff. Righto. Now, first off the rank, because it is the beginning of a new month, we have the Sky Notes presented to us by Tanya, close. Tanya Hill, who's the resident astronomer at the planetarium at Science Works. And like I say, every month she prepares a bunch of notes for the coming month. and sends it out via email. So you can actually register for that if you wish to have the Sky Notes sent to you by email, so you can see them for yourself. You can do that. All right, I think there's only one picture associated with the Sky Notes this month, so that'll come up in a moment. She starts off by talking about, well, there's a couple of things happening, upcoming events. I'll do a bit of a plug. Upcoming events for the planetarium. What they refer as planetarium nights. After hours for adults on Fridays, with the bar open. Enjoy a changing program of science and art house films in the full dome format. So, yes, that's happening right now, no doubt. Maybe. And there's also a display happening. It's called Museum of the Moon. This stunning art science installation showcases our breathtaking moon. So that could be interesting. Well, it would be interesting. So, yeah. Okay, Melbourne sunrise times, sunrise and sunset times. Thursday, the 1st of May, the sun rose at 7:01 a.m. and set at 5:32. On Sunday, the 11th of May, it will rise at 7:09 and set at 5:22 p.m. And on Wednesday, the 21st of May, it will rise at 7:18 a.m. and set at 5:14 p.m. 7:18. It'll rise at 7:18, setting at 5:14. I think I said that right. And by the end of the month, on Saturday, the 31st, the sun will rise at 7:25 a.m., setting at 5:09. I knew I'd get it wrong. Setting at 5:09. So those nights are getting progressively longer, and it gets darker a bit earlier. Very depressing. Much prefer the extra light in the hour in the evening. Although I do prefer the extra daylight in the morning as well. That's something. I just remembered something, and I was gonna, but I didn't do it. How can I talk about this? Let me get through the Sky Notes first, and if I remember, I'll talk about it. What if I don't forget? All right, moon phases. The first quarter is on the Sunday the 4th. There's a first quarter on Sunday the 4th. There's a full moon on Tuesday the 13th, and then there's a third quarter phase on Tuesday the 20th, and then there's a new moon on Tuesday the 27th, for those that are interested in the phases of the moon. Now, she's got the dates right this time. Moon distances. The lunar perigee, which is closest to the Earth, is on Monday the 26th at 359,022 kilometres. And then the lunar apogee, furthest from Earth, is on Sunday the 11th at 406,244 kilometres. Last month, she had the same date for both the perigee and apogee. So I did send off an email to politely let them know that, or let Tanya know that she made a typo in that, but it never got updated, or my message never got through. I don't know, but at least she's got the perigee and apogee dates correct, at least different. Planets, what's happening with our planets? Isn't Venus, I tell you, isn't Venus looking magnificent these last few mornings? I was a bit blown away by Venus the other morning. It's super bright and super big, and I think you could almost read a newspaper by the light that it's giving off, reflecting upon it. Venus is the morning object at the moment. When observing planets over a period of time, we notice their changing positions against a fixed background of distant stars. It is easy to notice for the inner planets Mercury, Venus and Mars as they orbit faster compared to the slower outer planets Jupiter and Saturn, and Uranus and Neptune seen through telescopes, which have more subtle changes in position. Learn about our growth of understanding of the planets in the solar system, including a video presentation by astronomer Tanya Hill at the Museums Victoria Picturing the Solar System. That's a link that I just read out there. So if you go to the planetarium, the Sky Notes, museumvictoria.com.au, that's the URL where the Sky Notes are at the moment. Museums, there's an S on that. Museums Victoria, all one word. Museumsvictoria.com.au. Look for the Sky Notes for May, and under the Planets tab there's a link called Museums Victoria Picturing the Solar System, and that's a presentation by Dr. Tanya Hill, so you'll get a chance to see Tanya there if you haven't seen her before. Right, Mercury is drawing near to the Sun, yet remains visible in the early part of the month from 5 a.m. in the east before it fades by 6:30 a.m. at dawn. By late Mercury, it will be lost completely in the morning's early light. Venus has the morning star. I think it should be Venus as the morning star can be seen from 3:30 a.m. in the east, reaching its highest elongation this month before fading in the dawn light. Mars remains visible in the evening from 6 p.m. in our northern skies before setting by 11 p.m. The red planet will appear and set a little earlier each evening during the month, so that by late May it will be set by 10:30 p.m. Jupiter is about to move behind the Sun for its solar conjunction, but this month it is still visible in the northwest from 5:40 p.m. Before setting by 7:30 p.m. Each evening it will appear earlier, and by the end of the month it will set by 6:30 p.m. Saturn has merged from its solar conjunction to be visible in the east in the early morning 3 a.m. before fading in the dawn light. It too will rise progressively earlier, so that by month's end it will appear from around 2 a.m. Meteors. The Eta Aquarids meteor shower begins on the 3rd, tomorrow, peaking on the 6th. The shower is linked to Comet Halley, and rates can reach 55 meteors per hour. They are a sand or rice grain size, very fast, at 64 kilometers a second. They usually produce a yellow color with a persistent train, and enter the atmosphere at 100 kilometers above the surface. They appear in the constellation Aquarius. Thank you, got it right. Aquarius. And the radiant or point from which they appear to originate rises at 2:30 a.m., moving higher to the northeast by dawn. So that's the Eta Aquarids, and they're linked to the debris field left over by Comet Halley. So if you're into meteor scatter on 6, 2 and 70 centimeters, it might be interesting to see what's around on the 6th of the month, or this weekend basically. I think you'll probably be able to get some luck in the morning. Stars and constellations in the west. If we turn to the west, the brightest star in the night sky is Sirius. It's high in the west and forms the principal star in Canis Major, which is a companion to Orion the Hunter. who lies below much closer to the western horizon and appears almost upside down from the southern hemisphere view. Marking one of its shoulders is Betelgeuse, a very obvious red giant star, and diagonally across Orion to the upper left is Rigel, a blue supergiant star that makes a contrast. The three bright stars that form an almost vertical line in the center of Orion are his belt. His belt is also the base of the saucepan asterism. The sword that angles up from his belt forms the saucepan's handle, and in the center of the handle is a fuzzy greenish object with which binoculars or telescopes will reveal the glorious Orion Nebula, some 1,300 light years away from us, a vast cloud of gas and dust where young stars are forming. Can't wait to look at it. Above and to the south of Sirius is Canopus, the second brightest star in the night sky, which belongs to the constellation of Carina, the Keel. Now, if we turn to the north, in the north there is the constellation of Leo the Lion. Leo is upside down compared to the northern hemisphere. Look for an upside down question mark. Quite easy to see that one, which marks his head and mane. The brightest star in Leo is Regulus, meaning little king. If we turn our chairs towards the southeast corner of the sky, the large and impressive constellation of Scorpius can now be seen rising horizontally in the southeast, and its head and pinches reaching east and long curving tail stretching to the south. The Scorpion's heart is marked by the red star Antares. This is a very rich area of the Milky Way, and the Scorpion's tail contains beautiful star clusters that can be seen with binoculars in a dark sky sight. The two bright pointers, Alpha and Beta Centauri, in the constellation of Centaurus, are low in the southeast and lead your eye up to the smallest constellation astronomers use, which is Crux, or the Southern Cross, and sits on its side this month and easily recognizable. In less light-polluted skies, you can see the pale band of light that arcs across the entire sky from southeast to northwest, the Milky Way, made of billions of distant stars and vast interstellar dust clouds that are often associated with regions of star formation. If we turn our chair now to the southwest quadrant, out on their own in the southwest lie the intriguing large and small clouds of Magellan. The two small nearby galaxies with names derived from Fernão de Magalhães, the French, I guess, Portuguese in this case, the famous Portuguese explorer of the 16th century who attempted the first circumnavigation of the globe. These two concentrations of stars may have resulted from interaction with our galaxy, which has also acquired numerous globular clusters and dwarf galaxies, some as newcomers, are all contributing to a local galactic environment more complex and dynamic than previously thought. Extending our perspective further, we now understand the two other large spiral galaxies, Triangulum M33 and Andromeda M31, along with many smaller galaxies, collectively make up the local group, our cosmic neighbourhood gravitationally bound together that sits within a far larger universe. Oh, there's a picture here, which I'll bring up. vMix, where's this picture? There it is. Okay. So that's what she was referring to in that last bit of text. So she's saying here that these two I'll just read this paragraph again. These two concentrations of stars may have resulted from interaction with our galaxy, which has also acquired numerous globular clusters and dwarf galaxies, some as newcomers, all contributing to a local galactic environment more complex and dynamic than previously thought. Extending our perspective further, we now understand that the two other large spiral galaxies, Triangulum M33 and Andromeda M31, along with many smaller galaxies, collectively make up what's referred as the local group, or our cosmic neighbourhood, gravitationally bound together, that sits within a far larger universe. And that picture on the screen there kind of illustrates that. Mumble. All right, next on the list. There's a bit of text underneath that picture. I might read out. It's called an infographic. This infographic by Andrew Colvin gives an excellent sense of our cosmic neighbourhood, the local group. Depicted at right is the Milky Way and its many smaller companions, including the Clouds of Magellan. At left are the Triangulum and Andromeda galaxies and their own host of lesser associates. The Milky Way and Andromeda are 2.5 million light years apart, and the overall scale for the local group represents a cubic volume of space some 10 million light years across. There it is. Amazing stuff. The International Space Station. Let me just change my camera here. The International Space Station, orbits every 90 minutes at an average distance of 400 kilometers, appearing like a fast-moving bright star. Here are some brightest morning and evening passes expected this month over Melbourne. In the evening on Sunday the 4th, this weekend, there's a passing at 6:07 p.m. to 6:14 p.m. coming in from the southwest, overhead to the northeast. So this Sunday at 6:07 p.m. So if it's not a cloudy sky, you should be able to see that. Then on the morning of Saturday the 17th, there's a passing at 6:01 a.m. to 6:07 a.m. coming in from the northwest to the northeast. There are many other passings of the International Space Station, but at various angles on the sky. More information can be found at the Heavens Above website. It's an excellent website for predictions on any astronomical object in the sky, and satellites, including satellites and iridium satellites. I think iridium satellites are still flashing in the sky from time to time. So they give you predictions of those flares, iridium flares they are called. I think that's still happening, that phenomena. All right, noting that the time is already getting along here, I'll read out a few of these dates. On this day, on Thursday at least, on the 1st of May 1958, the Van Allen radiation belts were discovered. That's I can just imagine that, looking up and seeing these belts across the sky that says Van Allen. We've just discovered Van Allen belts. It's not quite, but that's my sense of humour there. Van Allen radiation belts were discovered. Concentrations of electrically charged particles surrounding the Earth influenced by its magnetic field. And that was discovered by Mr. Van Allen. Also on the 1st of May 1930, Pluto's name is confirmed by the Lowell Observatory after suggestion by British 11-year-old Venetia Burney. I think that's how you pronounce that. Venetia. Anyway, so I didn't know that, actually. That's news to me. Pluto's name. Pluto was called, confirmed by the Lowell Observatory after a suggestion by a young 11-year-old Venetia Burney. Veneta. Also on the 1st of May 1910 was the birth of astrophysicist J. Allen Hynek. Yes, one of my favourites. Mr. Hynek. Do we know who Mr. Hynek is? Well, anyway, on the 1st of May 1910, birth of astrophysicist J. Allen Hynek, who investigated reports of unidentified flying objects for the US Air Force under the project name of Project Blue Book. Is that familiar? They made an SBS. Was it SBS? It was on SBS there. They made a series. I think it was 2 seasons called Project Blue Book, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know whether they continued on with that, to be honest, but that's a series I could sit down and watch again. Project Blue Book, and the actor that played J. Allen Hynek. And just as a bit of trivia, if you've ever watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, J. Allen Hynek has a cameo appearance. If you didn't know that, it's the scene. It's the scene where the mothership has more or less landed, or just floating above the ground, and all these bright lights are happening. And there's one little scene of a fellow that walks up towards all the action, and he's smoking a pipe, and he takes the pipe out of his mouth, and he runs his hand over his beard. So he's got a pipe. He's wearing glasses, and he's got a pipe. He takes the pipe out, and he runs his hand over his beard. That's Mr. Hynek in real life, the actual man himself, courtesy of Steven Spielberg. Bit of trivia there. All right, on the 4th of May 1675, the Royal Greenwich Observatory is established by decree of King Charles II. On the 5th of May 1961, Alan Shepard Mercury 3, the first American to be launched into space. On the 9th of May 1979, Pioneer Venus 2 craft sent 5 probes to the atmosphere of Venus. On the 11th of May 1916, Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity was first presented. On the 12th of May 1965, Luna 5 crashes on the Moon. And on the 13th of May 1861, one of 8 19th century great comets is discovered by John Tebbott. And on the 14th of May 1973, Skylab 1, USA's first space station, was launched. One more date. On the 15th of May 1618, the third law of planetary motion, establishing a direct relationship between distance from the Sun and orbital period, is determined by Johannes Kepler. There's a bunch of other dates there, but I'll leave that till later, because I know I'm running out of time here. Thank you, Dr. Tanya Hill, for those Sky Notes. I really do enjoy reading out the Sky Notes, because it does take up at least 30 minutes of the first hour of the show. Easy peasy Japanesey. Yeah. So like I said, Tanya's doing a presentation, which she provides a link. So go to museumsvictoria.com, look for Sky Notes, look for the reference to planets under the title Planets in her Sky Notes. Look for the link where she says presentation by astronomer Dr. Tanya Hill, Museums Victoria, picturing the solar system. That's a link. I can see that it's a link there. Let's get a move along. Right. NASA gives okay to build drone that will fly on Saturn's moon Titan. And here's a picture of this. Where is it? Is that it there? That's it. This is an artist's impression, of course. Let me just have a quick feel for this length of this article. Yeah, I might shortcut it. So, courtesy of astronomy.com, NASA gives OK to build drone that will fly on Saturn's moon Titan. The Dragonfly quadcopter will soar through the hazy skies of Titan and roam its dunes seas in search for evidence that the distant moon could support life, published 1st of May. And this picture is Dragonfly, takes off into the wild orange yonder, headed for its next destination on Titan, and of course it's an artist's impression. About 800 million miles, or 1.2 billion kilometres from Earth, lies cloud-cloaked Titan. It's the largest Saturn moon, 146 strong retinue of moons. So they're saying that Saturn's got 146 moons. In this stark sub-freezing patch of our outer solar system, the sun glows at barely 1% of its strength in Earth's skies. It's hardly an ideal place to search for life, but impossible as it may seem, the building blocks of life might once have taken root in this radiation-drenched wasteland. Now, NASA is set to explore this world and soar above it. With a drone-like robotic rotocraft named Dragonfly that will soar the alien moon for signs, or scour is the word, that will scour the alien moon for signs of habitability. Last Friday, the agency announced that the mission has passed its critical design review, a key milestone. This means the design of the craft, essentially a car-sized nuclear-powered quadcopter, is approved, and the mission can begin construction. In July 2028, Dragonfly will launch aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. The mission will scout diverse geological locations, study prebiotic chemistry, and assess the past and present habitability of this world. If successful, it will achieve the first powered controlled flight in a moon's atmosphere. Despite being approved to progress to its final design phase by NASA in April 2024, Dragonfly has fallen 3 years behind the schedule and slipped beyond its tightly mandated budget due to the COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain increases, and federal funding cuts. Between 2020 and 2022, Dragonfly underwent multiple mission replans, but clever tweaks of its trajectory and power launch vehicle will ensure it wastes no time getting to Titan by 2034. And there's a nice little picture here. This is a Fed income picture coming up. This is Titan. This is the moon Titan in Saturn's largest moon, imaged here in front of its host planet and its rings. So that's a genuine photograph of Titan. With the in the background is the rings of Saturn and Saturn itself. It's an amazing picky. Discovered in 1655 by Dutch astronomer Christian Huygens, and initially known as Saturnia Luna, moon of Saturn, Titan earned its name in 1847, courtesy of Britain's Sir John Herschel. Larger than the planet Mercury, its equatorial diameter is 5,100 kilometres, and positions Titan comfortably as the solar system's second biggest moon after Jupiter's Ganymede, and the only one known to possess a substantial atmosphere. That soupy orangey-hued gaseous veil is 4 times denser than Earth's own. As on our planet, nitrogen predominates. As on our planet, nitrogen predominates on Titan, albeit in greater relative quantities of 94.2% compared to 78% on Earth. Methane contributes another 5.6%, but oxygen, a mainstay in biological systems and sustaining life as we know it, is markedly absent. Surface temperatures at minus 290 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 180 degrees Celsius and pressures at 50% higher than terrestrial sea level paint a picture of a gloomy alien world. Yet Titan offers hints of the familiar. Its atmosphere and climate produce clouds, sluggish winds and methane rain, and its surface features are evocative of Earth, with swirling dunes not of sand but of coffee grain sized hydrocarbons, and rivers and lakes and seas not of water but slow moving or slow flowing methane. That's a picture. Actually, and this is another picture here too, which is fair dinkum. This picture here was taken by the Huygens probe, captured this image of Titan's landscape, sculptured by the flow of liquid across its surface. A dragonfly was born during an over-dinner conversation between scientists Jason Barnes in the University of Idaho and Ralph Lorenz and Applied Physics Laboratory APL at the Johns Hopkins University. In June 2019, NASA selected the mission as part of its New Frontiers program, cost capped at $850 million, and targeted for launch in June 2026 for arrival at Titan in 2034. Last April, NASA approved the mission to progress the final design and construction and testing of both spacecraft and the scientific payload. And here's another picture of this dragonfly thing. There it is. Dragonfly soars above the dunes of Titan in this artist's concept. Designed and built and managed by NASA, Dragonfly is a dual quadcopter with 4 pairs of rotors in a coaxial configuration, one rotor above the other, bearing a resemblance to a terrestrial drone. Each rotor spans 1.35 meters, and the entire unit provides a measure of redundancy to tolerate failures or partial loss or functionality. The entire craft measures 3.85 meters in length and is powered by a nuclear generator designed for spacecraft called a multi-mission radioisotope thermoelectric generator, or an MMRTG. It furnishes 70 watts of electrical power to charge Dragonfly's 134 amp hour lithium-ion battery during the 8-hour day-long Titan night. Flying at 36 kilometers an hour and capable of reaching altitudes of 4,000 meters, Dragonfly should be able to travel up to 16 kilometers on a single battery charge. Mission goals. The mission features contributions from US industry and academia, as well as the national space agencies of France, Germany, and Japan. Dragonfly's mass spectrometer will identify chemical compounds in surface and atmospheric samples. The US-French instrument owes its heritage partly to the sample analysis at Mars, or SAM, tool aboard NASA's Curiosity rover. The Dragonfly Gamma Ray and Neutron Spectrometer, built by APL, will characterize Titan's surface composition directly beneath the spacecraft on Titan's surface. And the APL-led Dragonfly Geophysics and Meteorology package comprises a suite of sensors to monitor atmospheric conditions and characterize the nature of the regolith and measure seismic activity. Such instruments could offer insights into the thickness of Titan's crust and deep interior, including the possibility of existence of subsurface salty ocean or liquid or water. And there's another picture here of a cut-in a cutaway view of the interior of the moon, supposedly. All right. Yep. I'm going to leave that article there because it's 10 to 11. So if you want to follow up on that article, astronomy.com. Under the news tab, NASA gives OK to build drone that will fly to Saturn's moon, Titan. A few years away, hopefully we'll be around to see that occur. That'll be really good. Okay, bring up my camera, if I can find it, here in the vMix maze. There it is. Now, next on the list. I'm going to pick and choose now. Right, I'll go with this story because this is a bit current. Courtesy of ScienceAlert.com, there's a defunct Soviet spacecraft set to crash to Earth in a fiery end to a 53-year orbit, published today. And there's a picture of that, which I'll bring up. I think that's it there. That one, yep, I think that's it. It's not the one that I didn't bring it across, doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, so launched way back in 1972, Cosmos 482 is about to meet a fiery end. It's one straight out of the history books. After over 50 years in space, the late Soviet Union's Cosmos 482 mission is set to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere early next month. Stranded in Earth orbit, there are just a few weeks remaining to see this enigmatic relic of a bygone era. And there's a bit of a video here, which I shall play. And I'll put that on a bit of a loop. So, now, yes, so it says here that we wrote about this doomed mission in 2019, and the prospects of re-entry launched on a Molniya 8K-78M rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on March 31, 1972. The mission was likely meant to head to Venus. A similar launch involving a successful Venera 8 mission occurred on March 27, 1972, just 4 days earlier. We say likely, as the Soviet space program of the 60s and 70s was largely silent concerning missions and launches until they were successful. This was the era of the Cold War, when relations between the East and the West were at a nadir. The Soviet Union never acknowledged the launch failure, and the simple Cosmos 482 designation remained. It's thought that a timer anomaly stranded Cosmos 482 in launch orbit. The payload separated into 4 pieces shortly after launch, several of which re-entered over New Zealand on the 3rd of April, just 3 days after launch. This sort of failure would repeat itself during the failed Phobos Grunt missions, which crashed back to Earth in January 15, 2012. Though the Soviet Venera program to Venus was largely successful, the post-Soviet Russian-era space program has yet to successfully field a lunar or planetary mission. And there's a picture here. I'm not sure what this is exactly until I read it out. This is a picture of one of the Cosmos 482 fuel cylinders recovered from the Ashburton location in New Zealand after a fail. Is that interesting? The re-entry through uncontrolled poses little risk to those on the ground. The remaining payload in orbit weighs about 500 kilograms, and the Cosmos 482 lander may well still be attached to the Block L upper stage that failed to send the mission on its way to Venus. And there's another couple of pictures here. This is the probe inside the launch vehicle before it's closed up. And then there's one other picture here. Yeah, this is where this is a series of images taken of the probe, and this is what they think. There's still something attached to the probe after all this time. There are many uncertain factors in this, though, including that this will be a long, shallow re-entry trajectory and the age of the object. And this picture here, there's a little subtext that says the failed lander possibly still attached to part of the orbiter of the upper stage, question mark though. So they're tracking it nevertheless in a 52-degree inclination, 156 by 394 kilometer orbit, orbits the Earth once every 90 minutes. The ID for the mission is 1972-023A/6073, and Spacetrack currently has a tip message for the re-entry up for the days centered on around May 10. So again, they make reference to Heavens Above here. You can check the re-entry of this object on Heavens Above. Has predictions for the mission on their main page. It's getting crowded up there as well. Satellites in low Earth orbit go all the way back to the US. Vanguard 1 launched back in 1958. And the burden of space junk is getting exponentially more critical in 2025. SpaceX continues to large Starlink batches at the exponential pace, and these are now joined by China's 1,000 sales, OneWeb, and just this week Amazon Kuiper project, which completed a first launch on April 28 as the company's bid for its very own mega satellite constellation. There is no need to call in for the $6 million man to battle with the Venus Death Probe yet. Be sure to catch the sight of Cosmos 482 while you can, as a piece of space history lights up an increasingly crowded sky. Oh dear, these things. Alright, back to camera 1, and now I want to finish up on a few things here. Mount Burnett Observatory. For more information about the Mount Burnett Observatory, go to mbo.org.au. MBO, Mount Burnett Observatory. Just type in the letters Mount Burnett, you'll get that in any search engine. mbo.org.au. There's a public viewing night on the 10th of May, and a few other things on the website there. You can see it on the home page. Oh, and I should be bringing up the picture when I talk about that. Quickly, where is it? Oh, goodness me, it is there somewhere. There it is. So that's what I was just referring to. That's the home page for the Mount Burnett Observatory. There's a new podcast on astrophys.com. Where's my slide for that? There she is. So we have a new podcast, number 212. Kira Guy is her name. Kira Guy, Space Governance. And Space Governance. We are speaking with space lawyer Kira Guy, who has worked in the justice system and magistrates' courts. After completing her first law degree, she is now an assistant astronomer at Battlesteads Observatory and is majoring in space law for her master's law degree at Northumbria University. Her specialties are dark skies and mega constellations of proliferating the lower Earth orbit satellites, as just mentioned. So go to astrophys.com for the latest podcast by Brendan O'Brien. So there's a plug there. And now on to spaceweather.com. We have a very quiet looking sun. There's not much in the way of solar flares occurring there, or sunspots I should say. There's basically 4 designated sunspots on the surface of the sun as we speak. The solar wind is currently at 566.7 kilometers a second at a density of 3.56 protons per cubic centimeter. The disk of the sun looks as it does. There's, like I say, there's only 4 sunspots that are in there. Otherwise, it's a fairly quiet, if not boring, looking sun. It's never boring. Sunspot number is 59. The radio sun is at 152 solar flux units, so that's fairly high still. 152 solar flux units measured at a wavelength of 10.7 centimeters. The aurora, southern aurora, is looking a bit like this right now. And looking at my geochron monitor, which is more current than that image, it's about the same still, from what I can see, but there is significant auroral activity. If you were down in Tasmania, you might just see on the horizon a little bit of auroral activity occurring. But there is definitely a distinctive bulge towards Tassie and the mainland. The corona is looking like that at the moment, so there is no major corona hole that would be streaming high charged particles. So as they say here, there is no large equatorial coronal hole on the Earth side of the sun. And they got a little report up here. They say that geomagnetic storms are possible today. NOAA forecasters say that there is minor G1 class geomagnetic storms are possible today, May 2nd, as fast-moving stream of solar wind buffets the Earth's magnetic field. There is a slight chance of the storm could escalate to a category G2. If so, auroras could be visible after nightfall in the northern tier US states, and not to mention the southern part of the world. And I'd say that's sort of happening, actually. And now there's a beautiful picture here as well, close-up of a sunspot. Have a look at this, guys. A giant ring of aluminum bombs. Astronomers are monitoring a very large sunspot now turning toward Earth. Sunspot 4079, which you saw in the last image. I'll just go back to that quickly so you can see where that is. So for those that are watching the video, sunspot 4079 is that one in the upper left-hand corner there of the sun. So this is a close-up. This is a close-up view of that sunspot. Look at that. Astronomers are monitoring a very large sunspot now turning toward Earth. Sunspot 4079 stretches more than 140,000 kilometers from end to end. And as a reference, they've got a picture of the Earth for scale against that sunspot. Isn't it funny? On my computer screen, the Earth is up in the upper left-hand corner, whereas the image on the TV is the lower right-hand. I don't know why that's reversed the way it is. It's very odd. Anyway, so yes, where are we? Astronomers are monitoring a very large sunspot now turning towards the Earth. It stretches 140,000 kilometers from end to end and has 2 dark cores, each large enough to swallow the Earth. Moreover, it is surrounded by a ring of aluminum bombs. Now, it is showing up on this image, but they've got these what we're referring to as aluminum bombs. They're circled. In the picture that I'm looking at, they're circled, but they're not. What I'm broadcasting is not the same picture. It's the same picture, but it's missing the little rings. But you can see it. All those little bright spots. If you can just see where the 2 dark spots are, you'll notice that the 2 dark spots are surrounded by bright white dots, bright spots. And what these are, they're referring to Allemande bombs. Going below the picture now. Allemande bombs are a sign of magnetic complexity in a sunspot. Opposite polarities bump together and then reconnect and boom. A fully fledged flare may not be far behind. Oh, I see. Okay. They also say here that these are Allemande bombs, magnetic explosions about 1/millionth as powerful as a true solar flare. A handful are circled in for reference in the picture that I'm looking at. It's named after a physicist, Ferdinand Allemande, must be French, who studied them in early 20th century. And a single Allemande bomb releases about 10 to the 26 ergs of energy. 10 to the 26 ERGS, ergs of energy, or equal to about 100,000 World War II atomic bombs. I don't think there was too many atomic bombs in World War II, but anyway. All right. Now, we shall go down a bit further, and planetary K-index. KP is currently 4. The planetary K-index is KP is 4, which is considered unsettled, and the 24-hour max will be 5.33, which is considered storm. It's the first time I've actually seen anything other than normal in that reference. So the planetary K-index, KP, is currently 4, unsettled, and over the next 24 hours it's likely to reach 5.33, which is considered storm conditions. And as far as on May 2, 2025, there are 2,349 potentially hazardous asteroids, but none of those are on a collision course with Earth. All right, that's spaceweather.com done in a nutshell. It's 6 minutes past the hour. I can never get it tight on 11 o'clock. And there's no solar report from Tamitha. She still hasn't presented anything at this stage, so hopefully there'll be a solar report from Tamitha next week. We'll see how we go on that one. Just checking my email. No other emails have come in. Checking the Discord. Andrew is still there, Steve, and David is still there. Oh, there it is. Good on you, Steve. You found it. Excellent. For those that are on the Discord chat window, Steve VK3SPX found the image of Dr. Alan Hynek looking at this magnificent, huge mothercraft coming down for a land, and this is just the scene, just a fraction before he pulls the pipe out of his mouth and he rubs his beard with his hand. Yeah, so that's the man. Project Blue Book is based on, or at least he was working on it. Yeah, I recommend that. If you haven't seen Project Blue Book, I recommend it was good viewing. The other thing I was going to mention before too, and I only came across this today. I don't know if I should waste my time on it right now. Maybe I should leave it till next week, but I know I'm not going to do it. If I can find it pretty quick, and it's not going to happen. Anyway, there is a video. If I look at my history, there's a video. Here we are. It just goes for 16 minutes, and it's called The Star. It's just called The Star, and it's based on a short story by H.G. Wells. I'm not sure of the year. 1891. 1891? Maybe that's when it was depicted. Anyway, some person has decided to make a 16-minute short film based on the story by H.G. Wells called The Star. And like I say, it goes for 16 minutes. Now, the interesting thing about this production is that it's literally 96% AI. It's all generated by artificial intelligence graphics. The people talking, the speech, the graphics, all produced by AI. And it is quite interestingly and quite well done, in a sense. So my recommendation is to just go to YouTube and search for The Star. Just type in The Star. H.G. Wells would probably get you to it. The YouTube website is CB Newham. CB Newham. That's the person's name who actually made this short article. So yeah, interesting. I didn't know that H.G. Wells did an episode or a story called The Star, but in a nutshell, just in the synopsis is that there is a sun that's coming through the solar system, and its orbit or its path takes it very, very close to Earth, which then it causes a few significant things to occur, but the human race basically survives. But as a result of the passage of this sun through the solar system, various things occur, and it's interesting. It's just an interesting story, so I recommend you see that. Just for the fun of it. It only goes for 60 minutes. Make a cup of coffee, and by the time you finish your cup of coffee, 16 minutes will be up, and you'll see what this is all about. H.G. Wells, though, I didn't know he wrote The Star. Very, very interesting stuff. All right. Where's my camera? Sorry about that. You've been looking at that sunspot for way too long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if there are any, thank you for listening to tonight's session. Sorry for going a little bit longer than normal. The FTDX 9000D seems to have held up very well for the hour and a bit that I've been going. It's I'd like a bit of an idea on if the audio has been good. I don't think there's much in the way of bass end in it, but we'll fix that up for next week. So, on that note, we shall get our pen and paper here ready, and we'll see who is listening. This is VK3 EKH listening on 3541.
VK3 VK3 Bravo Sierra Echo. VK3 AOB.
Okay, VK3 SPX, VK3 BSE, and VK3 AOB. Any other stations? Whoops, wrong switch. Oh, hang on. Go ahead. No, okay. I'm pressing the MOX button on the radio, so I've got to reach way over here to do that. All right. Short and sweet. Go ahead, Steve. VK3 SPX. And by the way, Steve, I've had a notification from Sidereal Trading today, and Diogo and team will be out next week to assemble the dome. So by this time next week, I should have a working dome, which will be fantastico. VK3 SPX, VK3 EKH.
VK3 EKH, this is VK3 SPX. G'day, Clint. Yeah, that's good news. Yeah, fantastic. I'll have to pay you a visit one day and have a look at this setup. Sounds like it's going to come along now. Excellent. Yeah, it's some interesting things as usual. Yeah, sort of got that. The probe, the Titan probe, that's pretty good, pretty interesting, isn't it? The helicopter getting its power from the plutonium batteries and then charging a conventional battery. Yeah, pretty interesting, isn't it? I suppose the was an 80 watt output, I think, from the RTG constantly, and I guess they pump up the other battery for its flying, so really interesting. Yeah, and somewhere along the way you were talking about the ISS. I think it's this is a timeline thing. I don't know, you probably know the WIA AGM is tomorrow night, so I'm actually going to that, and there's going to be a contact with the ISS.
Oh, okay.
A whole bunch of school kids from Easy go. We're going to have a chat to one of the astronauts, so that should be fun. And I just finished up the star. Yes, I think I saw that. That was fascinating. I don't think I ever read that story by H.G. Wells.
No.
I've read all the obvious ones by H.G. Wells, but I don't think I ever read that. And yes, and the star didn't do the Earth much good when it was passing nearby, actually. But anyway, fascinating story there, Clint. All right, good news on your dome. Terrific. All right, thanks, Clint. And I'll pass along now VK2EKA to VK3SPX 73.
Yep, good on you, Steve. And I assume you're watching video. This camera I picked up off. There was an ad on Facebook a few days ago, or about a week ago. There you go. You should be able to read that, I think. It's a little Wi-Fi camera. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Probably Bluetooth. But I don't know how well it will work. But there it is. You can see the CCD charge in there. And then that goes straight onto your eyepiece. And then you've got the little Wi-Fi or Bluetooth aerial at the back there. There's a couple of things on the back there for SD card if you want to store pictures to an SD card. But I saw that and I thought this will be interesting. Look, come on, focus on it. It's not going to focus. But the idea is that you put that on your eyepiece, on your telescope, just straight in there, and using your mobile phone, you can run the image straight to your mobile phone. And come on, focus, you silly thing. There we go. So it's an LST22, and some other information there, which hopefully it'll focus on. Come on, camera, be nice. So it's you can see it's all made in China. There we go. Finally focusing. So there's a little bit of information there which you can just see, and again looking down to where the charge coupled device is, and of course the antenna connections at the back there. So there we go. So anyway, that'll be interesting to see how well that works. It wasn't expensive. I can never remember these things, but I know it was under $200. So how well it will work, I don't know. But I'm getting all these bits and pieces for the telescopes. And yeah, just seeing if I can read anything off the back of this box. It's all in Chinese. There's some Q codes there. Yeah, that bloody camera doesn't want to focus straight away. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that as an interesting thing to play with. So it's. But at some stage I'll want to get a decent camera, of course, for planetary work and for deep sky work. So we're getting there. Yes, and I didn't know about the star. So, and you're quite right. It certainly did leave the solar system in quite an interesting state. and yeah, the after effects were quite bad. Anyway, there it is. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Now it's VK3BSE. I think that might be John. VK3BSE, VK3EKH.
Yeah, good evening. VK3EKH, VK3BSE. Yes, John, over here in Summers. And Tony, you're a good peaking 40 over 9 here, which is actually crashing good. Probably one of the strongest signals I've heard, but I've had another aerial up here. Halfway dipole for 8 units. It's very good in terms of resistance, but I'm baffling. I've got a massive amount of noise coming off the above ground phone line. Not sure what to do about that. Anyway, interested in a signal report from anyone too. But your audio, Clint, is good. It sounds good. Yeah, however you got your sliders and everything set up, it sounded good. I'm not really lacking. It's not, we're not craving for any more bass or anything. It's just simply good voice, clear audio, and it's good that you're you're peaking 40 dB over the noise floor of S9, which is good. And yeah, an interesting broadcast. Yeah, it's also interesting to hear about the little drone machine to go and zoom around Titan. That'll be good. Even after a few setbacks, that's good. And I'll also have a look for the film. Okay, for the film, I'm not sure whether we're out there with it for the WIA broadcast, but they mentioned the film frequency was on iView.
15 metres, the magic band.
Take on Auroras and ham radio, and yeah, a little bit of violence chucked in, which I could well do without. But the film and how it describes different or combines different time zones was quite cleverly done. And I think it is fairly fit for more or less general consumption. Yeah, anyway, good to hear. Anyway, the time is getting on, so I'll put it back to the others that are calling in. Good to hear the broadcast. VK3EKH, VK3BSE.
Yeah, thanks, John. VK3BSE, VK3EKH returning. Very good. Excellent stuff. Thank you for the report and the report on the audio. And I'm hoping I'm not running too much audio up there on the TV side of things. I can see that it's getting into the red a little bit on the digital side of the station here. If I get too much into that red area, the YouTube audio tends to get notably distorted. So I hope it's been okay. Yes, it's not the first time that I've used the 9000D for the broadcast here on Friday night. I think fairly early in the piece I ran the 9000D before I got hold of the ICOM Pro 3. But the like I said at the beginning of the session tonight, the Pro 3 has gone faulty, so I'm forced to use the 9000D, which is okay because it's a 200 watt transmitter, and so it's a little bit more power than the Pro 3, and hence the signal reports I'm getting are quite good. So I'm pleased to hear that. It's okay on the get together up at Bendigo this weekend. I hope that all works out okay for everybody that's heading up there for the AGM, and of course the cross or the contact with the International Space Station should be an interesting one. I think, I'm not sure, but I think there's going to be a Zoom. I think that's all going to be on Zoom, or maybe there's a YouTube feed. I'm not really sure if the AGM is streaming to YouTube or a Facebook channel. I don't know, but I'll do a little bit of research and see if there is anything there. Sticky Beak and have a look in. Anyway, have a good time for all that. It should be a good weekend actually for all that activity, and excellent stuff. Was there anything else in that? You're 35 over 9 too, by the way, John. According to the 9000D meter, you're picking over 35 plus, so it's good signal from you too. Excellent. Brit, VK3AOB, VK3EKH.
Job well done, that cleverly, yeah. The consoles, yeah, fine, yeah, as usual, a good little broadcast. I'm working on the laptop here, so I'm sort of half listening, but yeah, it's interesting the number of satellites that are still up there and the amount of junk. They need to send somebody up there with a very big vacuum cleaner or rubbish can and scoop the stuff up. Anyway, yeah, no, high neck and the close encounters of the third kind or whatever it was. Yeah, like a good little fantasy movie. Yeah, anyway, yeah, job well done. So I won't tie it up, but I'm an intrinsically boring person, so I haven't got that much to say. So back to you. Job well done.
No worries, Brett. Looks like Steve, Mr. HK's not around. He's I spoke to him this morning on the Coffee Break Net, so he knows that I was doing the broadcast tonight. So he must have got headed to bed early. He's apparently he's got a radio next to his bed, so if he remembers, he'll put his headphones on and have a listen to all the waffle. But yeah, anyway, he's not obviously hasn't shown up, so that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. I'll get him tomorrow morning on the Coffee Break Net. Anyway, thanks, Brett. Thanks for everybody for calling in tonight. Is there any other stations wanting to quickly check in? VK3EKH. Alrighty then. Yeah, my noise level here is just on S9 tonight, just on S9. And a few hours ago, I had a really bad buzz right across the whole band. Some switch mode supply was just absolutely ruining the band. But fortunately, it's stopped. So yeah, suburbia, my kingdom for a few acres of land away from Melbourne. But that'll never happen. All right, this is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station for the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast, which commences at 10 o'clock every Friday, if I can make it to the radio. And more information about the station can be found on the qrz.com page, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. And like I say, it's all on behalf of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. So that society is growing bigger and bigger. It merged with the Bendigo District Astronomical Society a few years ago, and just in recent times, it merged with the Bendigo with the Geelong Astronomical Society. So the Geelong Astronomical Society is now a section of the ASV. And from what I've read in the editorial in the Crux newsletter, which is around here somewhere, it seems that the Mildura, there's a society up at Mildura that's now decided to merge with the ASV. So, which is interesting to note. So the society in general is swallowing up all the other little societies around the state and becoming one big monster society. But the society is doing, the ASV is doing some pretty interesting things. So it definitely is going out into the country with bringing astronomy to the country folks, which is a good thing. So excellent stuff indeed. On that note, we shall close down, and we shall say a very pleasant weekend and pleasant week. And I'll have information next week on the installation of the dome. I have a 3 meter scope dome to be installed. It's been sitting on its delivery pallet now for about a year, and I've been just trying to get this deck sorted out that it's going to be mounted on. So that'll be all done next week, and we'll finally start putting some telescopes to use and taking pictures of the sky the best I can under this sky here in Narre Warren. But it should work. Anyway, we'll see. All right, cheers everyone. Take care. Have a lovely weekend. May your footy team win. And I won't mention anything political. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station. Already said that. This is VK3 Charlie Sierra Juliet on the microphone. And we say a very pleasant good evening to everyone. Cheers for now. And I'm glad to see that my YouTube stream held up too. Nothing fell over, which is really good. So I'm pleased about that. Anyway, let's go across to some views of the sky from the orbit. Hello. Oh, really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is audio there. I can see it on the Discord as I speak. There's the border around the window on the vision here goes green, and that tells me I'm definitely got audio on Discord, and there should be plenty of audio on YouTube as well. So there, as far as I know, there is audio there, Steve.
Yeah, I got you now, Clint. Yeah, no worries. That might have been me.
I know. It's always something. Thanks, Steve. No problem. It's always something. The stuff.
Must be quite a bit of effort involved. Anyway, there you go. Enjoy voting day.
Yeah, I'll be going down to vote at 5:30. I'm not going to stand in any queue. I don't know why people do that. Stand in a queue just to bloody vote. I always go down to the voting places at about 5:30 in the afternoon when everybody's packing up and ready to go, and you just go straight in and straight out, and there's hardly anybody around. So that's the way I do it. Cheers, everyone.
That's the beauty of living in the country. You've got the local school and you go to that, and there's no punch-ups or fights. So, not that many bodies. It's pretty good. Anyway, see you next time. Have a good weekend.
Oh, I've got to press that button. No worries, Britt. And yeah, I don't know if I'm doing anything special tomorrow for my birthday. I'll probably get a notice from the family just next door here that say come down for dinner. That'll be nice. But it might just turn out to be a microwave dinner tomorrow night. I don't know. Anyway, cheers. All right. On that note, we shall disappear. Crossing to orbit.